You've probably seen it, but one of the most fascinating parts about the World Cup isn't what's happening on the field. It's exciting, but that's not the most fascinating part to me. It's honestly watching millions of fans experience America for the very first time and seeing the awe in their faces. They marvel at our cities, that we have AC everywhere, our national parks, our diversity, our hospitality, the simple fact that people come from every corner of the world and can come here to chase a dream. And I don't know about you, but honestly, to me, it's a powerful, powerful reminder of just honestly how many of us were born here, but we've grown accustomed to our freedoms and opportunities that literally billions of people around the world can only dream about. The freedom to speak our minds, to worship as we choose, the opportunity to build businesses, to reinvent ourselves over and over again if we choose to create a life of purpose, regardless of wherever we start. It doesn't matter where we start. We have this opportunity, this limitless opportunity. Let's face it, America isn't perfect. No place has ever been. It will never be. But it's still an extraordinary blessing to live in a country where possibility exists on such a massive scale. Sadly, meanwhile, too many people spend their time focused on only what's wrong, forgetting the fact that literally billions of people would trade places with us in a heartbeat. Sometimes it takes seeing America through somebody else's eyes just to remember how amazing this country really is. Honestly, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Gratitude changes perspective. So instead of taking our nation for granted, maybe we should spend more time appreciating what is right, protecting the freedoms that we've been given, the freedoms that honestly were earned through blood, sweat, and tears. It recognizes the incredible opportunity that's available to all of us. I don't know about you, but I'm proud to call America a home. I'm proud to be an American. I will never, ever take our freedom for granted. And as we get into this day, I want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Harris Coaching Group. I want to ask, what if 90 days could completely transform how you look, how you think, how you perform, most importantly, how you live? Most programs change one thing. Here at Harris Coaching Group, we change everything: your body, your mindset, finances, relationship. Honestly, using our proprietary Prism technology, we measure exactly where you are and able to build a precision plan to get you where you want to be. And now through us, you can access physician guided pharmaceutical grade peptide sourced right here in the United States. Honestly, guys, with us, there's no more guessing, no garbage, just real results. This isn't generic coaching. This is your life engineered for performance. So give me a quick DM. Let's see if you qualify. I'd love to work with you guys. And today we're going to really be talking about conscious capitalism. And what is that? I believe conscious capitalism is, what are you doing with your money to make a difference in this world? A lot of this has been on my mind as we just celebrated our 250th anniversary of this amazing country. And, it made me think all the way back to the founding of our nation and really thinking about the fact that if you look at a lot of revolutions that have happened around the world, most of the time, those rebel rousers, those revolutionaries, they were at the bottom. They were at their breaking point. They had everything to gain and nothing to lose by trying to change things, to take over a country, to change leadership. They had everything to gain and nothing to lose. It really made me think about our forefathers, the founders of our country. If you looked at them, most of them were completely opposite. All of them were completely opposite. They literally had everything to lose and nothing to gain except for this idea of America. This idea to really look that all of us are created under God with indivisible rights, endowed by our Creator, and not have to be under some tyrannical authority. Almost every other culture in the world was, especially at the time, they had their monarchs, they had their kings, they had this pretty tyrannical governments that ruled over the people. And we wanted to create an opportunity that we, the people, had the power. And if you look at how our government was first created, the people elected were supposed to be public servants. They were supposed to be representatives of the people. Now, I think a lot of our politicians have gotten this wildly backwards in today's society. They think we're supposed to serve them, but yet it was meant that we, the people, have the power. We're supposed to elect people that will represent our concerns, our needs, our wants to the government, and they were supposed to represent us. And looking back at our forefathers, again, most of these guys had everything to lose because, most of them honestly were lawyers or planters. A lot of these guys, they were well off. I mean, they had a pretty good life. Most of these guys were very successful in their fields. It was interesting that a lot of them were fairly young. A lot of them were under 50, but yet they were professionals, and they had a pretty good life. And they knew, literally, by signing the Declaration of Independence, by going through this process, they were literally signing their death warrant. I mean, they knew, if you think about, as they came together, they were binding their fortunes, their lives, everything. They're willing to risk everything for this idea of America, which is very different from most other revolutions that ever happened in this world. And that's what I've always admired about them, because, again, they could have just kept living a fairly good life and not had anything. And when you really think about what happened to most of them, I was doing a little research because I wanted to get this right. But of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, 5 were captured by British as traitors. 12 lost their homes. That were they're basically, their homes were either ransacked, occupied, or just burned to the ground. 2 of them, lost their sons in the Revolutionary War. 9 died during the wars from wounds, imprisonment, hardship related directly to it. Several of them, almost all of them, died broke. They funded or sacrificed their fortunes for the cause. They literally gave everything for the cause. And nearly all of them faced some kind of personal loss, harassment, and or danger. So what makes this extraordinary is that most of them knew the odds going in. Benjamin Franklin, when signing the Declaration of Independence, reportedly said something to the effect that they must all hang together or they would hang separately. It wasn't a joke. It was a sober assessment of what failure meant. They knew if they failed at this, they're all dead. I mean, it's over. It was like that old saying of, burning the ships. Like it was win or lose everything. They weren't firebrands with nothing to lose. Again, they were wealthy, established men who put everything they had built on the line for an idea. Many of them paid for it with their health, their fortunes, and some of them for their lives. And it's amazing what we've been able to do through this. And again, if you look at this country and the opportunities that we've given, this is where this concept of conscious capitalism came to me. It really came to me out of a guy out of Houston. He's a furniture store owner, a guy named Jim McInvale. He owns Gallery Furniture out of Houston. And I really saw this in action. This guy had built these businesses from nothing. He's uber successful today, a multimillionaire. But what he does with his finances, what he does with his resources, it really inspired me as a business owner to do the same. And I wanted to bring this episode to you so that, when you do business with us, what are you a part of? Like, what difference are you making in the world by doing business, whether you're one of my coaching clients, one of my business associates, or just one of our customers through our peptide line that we have, or through our supplemental line that we have. What are you doing? What are you supporting? And through this episode, I'm going to give you some visuals and some examples of some of the stuff that you're actually a part of, the lives that you're changing just by doing business with us, because we made a choice that God is our CEO, and how would he run our business, and what would he do with these resources that he flows through our business? I pray every day that God uses our business as an open window for his wealth, his resources to flow through to fund the works of the kingdom of God. And I wanted to make my business, my finances, important to God's work. And that's what you're doing by partnering with us. And again, I want to give you some very clear visuals of literally what you're a part of. I'm super excited because as I'm taping this tomorrow, I'm actually going to Africa. and I'll show you a picture of our daughter Sharon. This is a girl we've been sponsoring forever. Of course, you guys know we have 3 boys, so when we started this child sponsorship program, we wanted a girl because we needed to have a girl at the time. And so we've been sponsoring Sharon for many years now. Like I said, she's like our daughter, and I'm super excited because for the first time, my wife's going to meet her in person. I've been able to meet her for several years now, and now my wife's going to meet her for the first time here in a couple of days. And man, I'm over the moon excited. But through our child sponsorship program, if you wanted to be a part of this, I'll put the link in the description. Is through our key resources, KE resources, for $40 a month. You can sponsor a child, and it literally covers everything: their education, their food, their medical, clothing, like everything. $40. That's $40. We waste that on garbage every day. So if you want to make a difference, be a part of this, please. We make it very personal. You'll get updates every single month with pictures of your child and everything. It's a super, super cool program. And if you ever want to go with us to Africa, we go every year. It's an amazing thing. So, but again, what are you doing? And I wanted to really get you to think about, what are you doing with the resources that you have been blessed with? Are you being a good steward over the resources that you've been blessed with? And it comes with a lot of things. It might come from your home. It might come from your vehicle, your finances, like the things that God's blessed you with. And again, that's why I started this episode talking about the World Cup a little bit, because, in most of Europe, we all think of Europe as a pretty sophisticated society. Most of Europe doesn't have AC. That's why these people come over and they come into our stores, or they come into our businesses, they come into our homes. They're like, oh my gosh, you have all the AC you want. It's funny to watch these guys marvel over free refills. The abundance that we have. It's interesting, way back in the day when the Soviet Union was the Soviet Union, it was interesting because one of their leaders, I don't believe is Gorbachev, I believe is one of his head guys, but it was back in the 80s. He came to America. And it was interesting because he went in here in the Houston area. We have a grocery store chain called Randall's. It's a huge, huge grocery store. And when he walked into a Randall's, like he couldn't believe the abundance of food that we had in this single grocery store. Now, for us, we never think about it. We walk into all these HEB and, whatever, Randall's or whatever supermarket is all the time. We never think about it. Now, I've been to a lot of third world countries, and I've seen their grocery stores. It's not our grocery stores. But this leader of the Soviet Union, he said, if the people of Russia ever saw this, communism's over. Now what pisses me off in today's society is this thought that communism or socialism is a great idea and we should change America to do that. Now, I challenge you, and I'll put this offer out there. I'll give $100 bill to anybody that can give me an example of where socialism and or communism has ever worked, ever in the history of the world. I mean, I've studied it, I've looked at it. You can look in our lifetime of what happened to Cuba or what happened to Venezuela. Thriving countries. Venezuela was this amazing, prosperous, like rich country, amazing, beautiful country, until socialism came in. And within a couple of years, about 2/3 of the small and mid-sized businesses were out of business. And it got so bad to a point that people were literally breaking into zoos, the zoo, to kill animals to eat. The average adult is way, way less than 20 pounds of the average weight they should be. This idea of socialism sounds amazing, but there's an old saying that socialism works until you run out of other people's money to pay for it. What you got to understand, guys, is the government creates nothing. The government creates nothing. They don't generate revenue. They take. That's all they do. They take. So it takes businesses, it takes entrepreneurs, it takes the employee. If you're a high income W-2 employee, you're the most screwed person out there. Honestly, sorry to tell you. But the amount of taxes they take out of your check, and you have no control over it. Now, as a small business owner, we have control over things because as we generate revenue, we can expense out what we need to, and then we pay tax on what's left. High income W-2 person, you don't have that option. They just take it. By the time you get your check, it's gone. So The government creates nothing. So when the government is promising free healthcare, free childcare, free education, free this, free that, like all this free, it's not free. Someone's paying for that, and it's us. It's we, the people, that are paying for it. And that's why socialism doesn't work. And that's why every country in the world that has ever tried, it has crushed the country. Because at some point, there is no more money to take from the people because the people don't have any more money for them to take. So it sounds amazing, but in practice, it's garbage. It never works. Capitalism, on the other hand, has raised more people out of poverty than any other system ever created in the world. That's why everyone wants to come here. So for all the people that say how horrible it is, why is this the one country people are flocking to? Think about people that are traveling, say from South America to try to get to America. They have to pass through multiple other countries to get here. Why don't they stop in any of these other countries? It's a horrendous trip coming all through up South and Central America through Mexico. Why don't they stop anywhere else? Why don't they stop in Guatemala? Why don't they stop in Venezuela if socialism is such an amazing place to be? Why don't they just stop in Mexico? Why do they continue to come here? Because they know here, if they can get here, the opportunities are abundant and they're endless. Now, I believe in legal immigration. I believe you should do it right. But why are people flocking to get here and not anywhere else in the world? If it's such a horrible, oppressive place, it's because it's a lie. And again, there's a reason our national motto is united we stand. Those in power understand the more they can divide us over petty garbage, then we're not focused on the main things, what's important. The more they can keep us divided, fighting over trivial things, the more power they can consume because they want to be the answer. They want to be the solution. I don't know about you. I want the least amount of government in my life as possible. I want them to just leave me alone. But yet we have this amazing experiment that started 250 years ago. And there's no other country like it in the world. And I believe we're the best country in the world. I want to ask you this one thing. With the amount of money that we give to other countries around the world, there's a reason I have this map behind me. Number one, I love traveling the world. I love seeing different cultures. I love experiencing different cultures. Number two, it reminds me of the opportunities that we have here. Out of this little country right here, we fund a whole lot. Now, what if America did fall under socialism? What would happen to the rest of the world? If we didn't have the abundance that we have to be able to give to help to so many other countries around the world, do you have any idea of the cascading effect it would have on the rest of the world? Because there is no other country in the world as benevolent as the United States. None. There is no other country giving aid to so many other countries. Now, I am a proud American. I am a proud America First guy. I believe we should clean up our own house, then help others. It's kind of like being on the airplane. Put on your mask first, then help others. I believe we should have our house in order to then give and be a blessing to other people. It's hard to be a blessing if you're a mess. If you're broke, it's hard to be a blessing to somebody else. You got to get your own house in order. And that's what I've tried to do throughout my businesses. Again, I want to come to a point of conscious capitalism. So when I talk about that concept, I try to do business with businesses that share my beliefs, my morals, my ethics, my values. That's who I want to do business with. I believe I can vote with my dollars. And that's why I want to talk to you about in this episode, what you're voting with your dollars when you do business with us. So one of the things for the past 20 years, I've been going down to Mexico drilling water wells. And I'll show you some pictures here of what we do. We have over 1,000 water wells in the pueblos of Mexico now. They're secured wells. They're enclosed because most people down there, everyone needs water to survive, and most of the time they're hand dug wells, and they get contaminated because they're open. And so we go down and we put these PVC hand pumps on the wells that we drill down there, so they have clean water. Now, most of us never think about water. because I can go to my faucet and drink as much water as I want. But most of these people they're traveling a quarter mile, half mile, a mile to these wells with 5-gallon buckets for water multiple times a day just to get clean water. Water's life, guys. And so because you've given us, we've been able to not only with my time, my energy, and my effort, but also with our money to be able to sow into this ministry and to provide clean water to thousands of people throughout Mexico. Thousands of people. This one area in Atuac de Alvarez that we have our kind of our home base, we've changed the entire area where typhoid and dysentery and all these waterborne diseases were massively, massively, massively just prevalent everywhere. We've changed that entire area where those are pretty rare now, because most people, again, they were getting the water out of the river. Now, depending on what area of the river you lived at, the further down, the worse it got, because the people use the river for everything. Sometimes they dump their trash in it. Sometimes they use the restroom in it. They bathe in it. They wash in it. They do their clothes in it. Things we never think about here in America. That's how amazing this country is. And I'm just talking about in Mexico, a little bit south of us. But I want to give you an idea of what you're a part of. Now, something else you're a part of, again, I talk about, I'm leaving for Africa tomorrow, the day after I'm taping this episode. And over the past 6 years now, we've really got involved with the community down there outside of Nakuru in Kenya, East Africa. It's called Kyoto. That's the name of the city. Now, this city, and again, I'll put some pictures up to show you what the city is. It's literally a city inside of a landfill. So people would go to the landfill. They've been going since the 70s, and they call it scratching. They scratch for food or any kind of resources they can find in the landfill. And because people were there so often, they started building structures. And over the years, over the decades, it's an entire city that's literally inside of the landfill. And before we got there, they never had any lights. So when it got dark, and it got super dangerous. It was very, a lot of criminals and gang members were there because it was a landfill. Like, it was a place they could hide out. Sadly, if you were a young girl that was walking around at night, you'd probably get attacked. Like, it was a pretty bad place. And during COVID, we really started as a church, started thinking, who's somebody that we can help? God put someone in front of us. And so this is where the genesis of all this came from. And since then, we've been able to develop a daycare there because, again, most of us never think about this, but it was not uncommon when we first started going to see a 1 or a 2-year-old child just left kind of in the middle of what they call a road. And their mom would be a half mile into the landfill looking for food. They would just leave their babies. So now we have a daycare there. We have a girls' home. We house about 18 girls that are probably between the ages of 9 and 13, 14 years old, just to give them a safe place to live so they don't have to worry about being attacked. I mean, I talked about our child sponsorship program over there. And like one of my friends last year, I met the girl that he was sponsoring. She was 11 years old. Her mom was 22. That's not uncommon. It's things we don't think about because we have this amazing blessing of America and we don't realize how most of the world lives. Now we have a big school there. Now we have our KE Learning Center that we've developed. And again, these kids are getting educated. They're getting, they're getting tools so that they can improve their lives. And one of the big things we want is to instill Kenyan pride. Like, we want them to stay there and to help rebuild the nation and to improve it. And so we're doing all this work there, and yearly we go down there. Man, it's such a blessing to have the opportunity. But because you do business with us, this is what you're a part of. These are some of the things that you're a part of that you help to fund by just doing business with us. Because again, I look at our business as a window for God's resources to flow through. That's why I'm such an advocate of wealth creation. Because again, you can't give back if you're broke. If you're wondering how to put food on your table, it's hard to put food on anyone else's table. I want to see people improve. I want to see people get rich. I want to see people do good with their money. because it's amazing what you can do with it. And again, I brought up Jim McInville earlier, like during Katrina, during Hurricane Rita, during some of the major storms that we've had, like he would open up his entire furniture store and let people stay there and basically live there until there was other options. There were churches not doing that in Houston. How sad is that? But yet, here's a guy who's created a lot of wealth that had an opportunity to be able to house people in his furniture store. Like that kind of stuff inspires me on a way that I can't even tell you. There's a YouTuber named Chris Sain, Sain, and he's a guy, like he's a young guy, but he's really good with stocks and investing and all this stuff. I was with him over this last weekend, and he was talking about how yearly he goes to about, it's either 12 or 18 cities. I think it's 12 cities to go and so back into the Black community. And he's a young Black entrepreneur that, I mean, has created some wealth. In every city he goes into, he finds ways to literally give away $1 million per city. Like when I heard that, like my heart swelled with so much ambition to want to grow bigger. Cause I'm like, dude, that is so awesome. Like I want to do that. I want to be in a position to do that, to give back, to sow seed into fertile land that's making a difference in this world, to improve people's lives. That's what conscious capitalism is all about. That's why I love the world of network marketing and direct sales, because it's limitless. It's limitless. No one's going to tell you how little or how much you can make. I don't have any cap on my income, on the size of my business, the size of my leadership group, the size of my customers. I don't have any limits on any of that. I can grow as big. I can make $100 a month. I can make $1 million a month. It doesn't matter. The opportunity is open for everybody. And what I love about it is it evens the playing field, because we all start at zero, number one. Number two, you don't need capital. You don't need credit. You don't need education. You don't need anything. You have to have a willingness and a desire to learn new skill sets and to grow as a person. That's it. That's it. That's all you need. Because it's the only business that I know of, the only industry that you're literally surrounded by people invested in your success. Because the only way to be truly successful in that industry is to help a lot of other people be successful. It's amazing. Change other people's lives, your life gets changed. Help enough people accomplish their goals, your goals get accomplished by default. Right? It's an amazing industry. That's why I love it so much, because I've seen it through our business, where we've literally signed people up, and they, within 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they're making as much a month as they used to in a year. What other opportunity is there like that out there? But then again, what are you doing with that resources? What are you doing with that money? I want to get to heaven one day and see that ripple effect of, because I was able to go work here or give into this was that ripple effect of what happened. That's what gets me excited, because I know God can stretch a penny more than I can $1,000. Like I even when I write my tithe checks, I'm like, God, attach this money to souls. Like, open people up to the gospel. Use this money for your kingdom, for your expansion. That's what gets me excited. Like most of our goals that we write out through the year, it's honestly, it's surrounded by our giving goals, like our income goals and our business goals that we want throughout the year. A lot of it goes off how much we want to give throughout the year. And in order to give X, we have to create X. Like I want to make it, important to God. I want to make it important to the people around me. Like I want to leave a legacy for my kids. Now they know they got to earn it. It's like that old Will Smith quote that he said his kids. He's like, when one of his kids once told his dad, he said, "Yeah, Dad, we're rich." He's like, "Whoa! Your mom and I are rich. you're not rich." Like that's the thing. And so again, I wanted to bring up this concept of conscious capitalism because, as we go through this theme of live younger, longer, I believe finances are a big part of it. The kind of finances that you have as you age will directly affect how you age. Right? It will directly affect how you age. Because if you have resources for good nutrition, for good supplementation, for healthcare, for this, that, and the other, it's going to affect you. And that's why I love so many more and more doctors are more going to like cash pay and concierge type things to get out of the insurance garbage so people can just have good health care. One of the other things you help support is preborn. We give to preborn every month. And if you're not familiar with this, they provide ultrasounds to unexpectedly pregnant women or women that got pregnant and they're scared. They're wondering what they can do. Now I'm passionate about this because I was adopted as a baby in 1976. Abortion was completely legal. And the young lady that gave birth to me could have easily made that decision. Thankfully, she was selfless enough to put me up for adoption. I was adopted as a baby to my parents, and I feel every day blessed that God placed me in the hands of two people that wanted a child and that raised me as they did. And it's amazing, if you think about it, the minute that sperm fertilized that egg, the minute that starts, I believe life starts there at conception. Now, at any point during that, if you disrupt that, if you terminate it, you terminated that life. You destroyed it. But it's amazing when people see the ultrasound and they actually see the miracle that is growing inside them. I believe the babies are miracles. We just had our first grandbaby, and it just, man, like you created this human, this beautiful baby. Like it's so awesome. And so preborn is something that we support every month. Another thing that you help support by doing business with us, because we couldn't do this if it wasn't for you guys. And I'm eternally grateful, but it's St. Jude. If you're not familiar with St. Jude, it's an amazing medical program that, if kids go and they're diagnosed with cancers and stuff like that, they can go and they pay for nothing. Like they even house the families so the families can stay there. They pay for everything, and all their research they give away for free. Like St. Jude is an amazing, amazing, amazing place. And they're changing children's lives. They're saving children's lives. Like I get emotional thinking about it because it's so awesome what they're doing. And I feel so blessed to have the opportunity to give into places like this because you do business with us. And so when we talk about this conscious capitalism concept, that's what you're doing by doing business with us. Again, if you're one of my coaching clients, if you're one of our business partners through our business, if you help support this podcast, like things like this is what you're doing to make a difference in this world. And I just wanted to thank you and take a moment to put this concept into your head of what are you doing? Like I said, through our child sponsorship program, it's $40 a month. Most people waste more than that at Starbucks every month. And we literally have seen the entire countenance of these children change by just getting fed, right? Just by getting normal meals and by getting educated and having access to medical. When the girls went into the girls' home, and I'll share a picture of that, or I might even have a little video of it that I can put in here. But these girls were 12, 13 years old, and I was there when we dedicated the home and we moved the girls in, and they were shocked, like they were so excited to have a shower because they have never had a shower in their life. You imagine that? They've had sponge baths their whole life. And the thought that they would have a shower and just take a shower. Like it was such an amazing experience to be a part of. But again, guys, I really wanted to thank you and just from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything that you're doing through this program. And really thank you for all the ways that you've supported us, all the ways that you've helped us, all the ways that you've been able to make a difference in this world. And again, I did want to tell you again that this episode is sponsored by Harris Coaching Group. And I wanted to put that into your head again. Again, what if 90 days could completely transform, again, how you look, how you feel, and most importantly, again, how you live. And most of the programs out there, they change only one part of your life. And here I look at everything. I want to help change your body, your mindset, your finances, even enhance your relationships if you need it. And using some of our proprietary technology like our Prism to where we can really measure exactly where you are, build a precision plan around it. And now through us, again, you have access to physician guided pharmaceutical grade peptides sourced right here in the United States. There's no guessing, no garbage in it. It's just real generic coaching, or it's not generic coaching. This is precision based coaching, guys, to really hone in, dial in for your life. And it's engineered for performance. So again, if you're interested in wanting some more details, DM me, give you all the details, see if it's a fit for you. But I appreciate your time today, guys. So take care. God bless. We'll talk to you on the next episode. Bye-bye.